Thank you,
No,
Einab.
the stage is yours.
Thanks. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us today to the November Release Highlights webinar, which represents the last quarter of the year in terms of Primo releases. Before we dive into the details, let's review briefly the timelines of installation. Next week, next Sunday, we are going to install a sandbox, and 2 weeks from that day, on Sunday, production is going to be installed. What we're going to cover today, we'll begin with the Research Assistant. As you all know, we promised to release the Research Assistant in the last quarter, actually this release, and we had a surprise for you during the Igloo conference. We announced about the Research Assistant being live, also announced in the Primo listserv. We're going to review the Research Assistant, see a short demo, and what was enhanced in the Research Assistant since the release in September. There is an enhancement in the area of collection discovery, one more enhancement for consortia, 2 nurse requests that were implemented in this release, few more enhancements, and Nili is going to update us about the NDE UI rollout timelines and general updates. Feel free to write your questions in the Q&A section, and we'll do all efforts to address everything at the end of the session. And now to the Research Assistant. The Research Assistant is a generative AI-based tool that's designed to provide your users with an easy starting point for their research. I'm going to show you a quick demo. Here I'm in Primo, I'm doing a search. I'm interested in knowing the impact of vitamin D deficiency, on the overall health of people. So I'm submitting a search, and the Research Assistant is visible for me in 2 main places in the user journey. The first one is on the top, the menu links over here. You can see the Research Assistant. And on the right side, there is the widget where the user can type the question. Clicking on either the menu link or writing the question in the widget will take me to the Research Assistant search screen. But before that, here I'm going to click on the menu link, I will be prompted with the login. The Research Assistant is inclusive in the product. We wanted to be able to control the costs. That's why we are enabling the Research Assistant. We're exposing it only for logged in users. I'm going to log in. And over here, you can see the Research Assistant search screen. The first great thing here is the ability to submit a natural language search. So I'm going to type my question: how does vitamin D deficiency impact? And of course, if I have a typo, Research Assistant should be able to deal with it. Impact overall health. This is my question, and I'm going to click on the submit over here. Once I clicked on the submit, 2 calls were triggered, 2 calls were invoked to the large language model. The first one takes the natural language question that I entered and transform it into a Boolean query that the Solar, the search engine, know to deal with. Once we have the Boolean query, we can run it on the CDI, the Central Data Index. This is the scope of the Primo Research Assistant. We're searching in CDI, and we're sending another call to the large language model, a list of the top ranked sources, a list of the 30 actually top ranked sources according to what we found. The large language model take the results, re-rank them, and compose a question, and also selects the 5 top ranked sources that suit the question best. So over here, you can see the overview, which is the answer. It is important to note that the overview is the answer, but it doesn't come to write the paper on behalf of the student. We are providing a good starting point for the research. We're trying to be transparent as possible. That's why at the end of each sentence, you can see from which source of the 5 top ranked sources this line was taken. For example, I'm going to click on this inline reference, and I'm being taken to the first source where I can see the abstract as appear in our index. We're not getting from the large language model any translation or enhancement of this source. We are taking the abstract as is from the CDI, from the central data index. We have the full text options, and most important, we have an option to go to the full record page in Primo, in the Primo traditional search. Over here, I'm being taken to the full record page. We're encouraging the user to keep their research, to work on this record, explore more, submit requests, do anything that they need with this record. This is the sources. We can see over here the 5 top ranked sources. Next to them, you can see the view more results. The view more result is a very efficient thing. You will be able to find the Boolean search that was triggered, that was composed behind the scenes based on the natural language search. Over here, here is the Boolean search. We encourage the user to go to Primo and to explore beyond the research assistant to see the full list of results, perform any apply filters, facets, whatever they need in order to explore more about their question. After the view more results and the sources section, you can see the related research questions. You can see over here few suggestions of sophisticated questions that can assist the patron to refine or redefine their research question. Once I click on one of them, new question it is considered as a new question. The 2 calls to the large language model, as I described, are being invoked behind the scenes. A new answer is being provided, and the sources are being displayed, same as the related search questions, which were composed from scratch in order to answer fit best the new user question. We support local languages in the Research Assistant. We support all patron-facing languages that Primo supports. If I type a question, for example, I'm going to type down over here the same question that I just entered, but in German. I'm going to trigger to submit the question, and a new search is being called behind the scenes. I will be able to see the answer in German and to get sources in both English and German. On the left, you can see the history. Currently, until November release, you will be able to see the questions of this existing session. Starting from November, we enhanced it to show the last 200 questions. We conducted the demo. We can see over here we reviewed the ability to do a natural language search. We saw the overview, which is the answer, the brief answer that is being provided, the 5 top ranked sources that are being retrieved, and the suggested questions. The enablement of the research assistant is actually very easy. There are 2 parameters in the views setup, one for the menu link and another one for the widget, and that's it. This is what you need. In the view setup, you are activating it per view. We encourage you to move on and test it on your environments. As I mentioned, Research Assistant was released in September, and happily, since September, we got a lot of feedback from you. Based on this feedback, we already have the chance to add some enhancements and fixes. We worked even before actually September on the search history, which is going to be introduced in November. As I mentioned, currently the search history that we saw in the demo on the left is being including only the existing session questions. Starting from November, we will include also past sessions. The ability to change the order of the menu link. Currently, when you enable the research assistant in a menu link, the parameters that we saw in the previous slide, it is always being displayed as the first menu link. Starting from November, you will be able to play with the order and locate it wherever you want. We did some label changes in order to better guide the users. We're going to switch to GPT-4o Mini. This is the new version of the model. We upgrade according to the new versions of GPT. It will happen in the future also again when new GPT versions will be released. New prompt for negative rejection and noise robustness. This is how we deal with information that is not relevant to the user question. In the next release, we're going to deal with specific scenarios and we are going to enhance it in the future. The query classification is handling the cases where we cannot answer user question. Currently, we're not supporting advanced search. Advanced search is limiting when the question is including, for example, time and format limitations. So in the next release, we're going to display an indication on the screen when the user is asking for specific time frame for the records for the answer or a particular format. For example, please give me books of. So we're going to display the query classification that this is not supported. This is the phase 1, and we're going to enhance the query classification in the next releases. We continue to work on it for February. Other fixes. We have the first fix that was required by you in the Primo listserv, by the community. There was a lot of correspondence about the visibility of the research assistant when using the URL, when the two view level parameters are not being enabled. You asked that the research assistant URL will not be accessible because of the sensitivity of the AI in your organizations and the bureaucracy that you sometimes need to go through in order to be able to activate AI tools. That's why we responded quickly and we applied a fix where the URL will not be accessible unless one of the two parameters is being enabled in the view. The feedback icon was covering part of the submit button. We fixed it for November. And there are a few analytics fixes. In the September release, Research Assistant already had subject area for analytics. With this, we finish the review of the Research Assistant of what was released in September and what we plan to release in November. The next enhancement is in the area of the collection discovery. The collection discovery until now was kind of interoperability between Alma and Primo VE, where Alma local records were added to the collection discovery. We got feedback from customers that you would like to include also your external repository. That's why we added the following configuration. The first configuration that was added is a new mapping table where you can map which value of the source record will be mapped to which collection. This record will be assigned to particular collection discovery. A new syntax need to be added to the normalization for external data sources. We added documentation for it. You will need to add the call to this new mapping table using this syntax. And the discovery import profile will know how to deal with this new table. So using this new configuration, you will be able to get also to include external repository as part of the collection discovery. This will be extremely beneficial for customers that transitioned from Primo Classic to Primo VE, as in Primo Classic, customers were able to do it using pipes normalization rules. Record can be linked to more than one collection, and this is applied on all data formats Dublin Core, MARC, Unimarc. The next enhancement is relevant for consortia. Until now, the electronic resources were managed in the network zone institution where it was possible to make it available only for either for the entire network or for a specific member of the of a specific institution zone. With this great enhancement, you will be able to indicate the availability of the resource of the portfolios, but not only in the institution level, but also for particular campuses and libraries of the institutions. The next enhancement is taking the dedupe record and enhancing the metadata to be taken not only from the preferred record, but from all records. Until now, the local fields were taken only from the preferred record. We got feedback from customers about their requirement to add, for example, statement of coverage or statement of donor, and to include it also in the dedupe, from the different records and not only from the preferred records. For this, we added a new mapping table where you will be able to include the fields, the local fields that you would like to take from the different records of the dedupe and not only from the preferred one. There is also a new customer parameter that you need to enable in order to make this functionality available. Over here, you can see an example where the 505 field, the preferred record contains 2 entries of this field. And at the second screenshot, you can see that the actual display field will contain much more values, much more rows taken from the different records of the dedupe. And now, Nili, over to you for more enhancements of the November release.
Thank you, Sima. Let me share my screen. Yes, this one. Okay. Just a second, I will move this one. Okay. And okay, so I would like to share with you the nurse enhancement requested by the community of improving search results, CDI searches, mainly when users are using quotation marks or when using one of the exact operators that we are giving with the advanced search. So before, I would like to a bit explain today, when we are doing keyword searchings across CDIs, CDI will attempt to retrieve documents that match the user query, but it will also retrieve documents with some kind of various forms for the search terms. It will activate automatically some linguistic features that I will elaborate on in order to better match, in order to attempt to give more search results that may be relevant for the user searches. So this is what we called cross-searching and enhancements that a search engine is doing. Now, when users are using quotation marks or going specifically for the advanced search for the exact operator, they actually would like to make their search terms more with less enhancement, but more to retrieve documents that are more relevant to the search, same as they search for. So for instance, we'll show example here. If I search for student success without, with the contains here or with a simple search with no quotation mark, I will get documents that could be student success, same as I search, but we will also get suggestion for documents that have student success with this stemming here. So without the regular search, the cross-searching will retrieve both documents. Now, when user will use the exact phrase or quotation mark, we expect CDI, with this enhancement, CDI will will only retrieve documents that are match this phrase and without any various forms for that searching. So this was example of what is actually verbatim search, more on the search same as user search for, reducing those linguistic features. So here we try to elaborate what are linguistic features CDI using when you are using cross-searching. So we give an example for the stemming. We also have all kind of variations, for instance, American spelling vs the British spelling. It could be special diacritics that can be used. It could be compound words or synonyms, and even the option with case, uppercase or lowercase. Now, with this enhancement, the verbatim search will disable all of these features and will retrieve results that are exact match the user searches without any of those enhancements that we share. All but the case variation. So the capital letter we are not excluding here. So this is what this feature is all about. Now, before I will do a demo for that, I will try to also, I put here some tables that can help you understand if the user search for Google and for books. In the cross-searching, as I mentioned, we will get both options, but in the verbatim search, if I search for books, documents that have book in a singular place will not be retrieved. Same goes for student success and theaters, and I will demo that now. This feature is enabled by default. If you want to disable it, you will find a configuration and can do that. Some limitations that we have while delivering it, the verbatim search is not applied on the full text search field. So if you do manage to see results that can match when using cross-searching and not a verbatim search, please check if you see in the full text search, if you search in using search in full text, and if so, the document might be retrieved because of that. And another limitation, if you will use at the end of your phrases stop words, like you see here, cats in, I don't rely on, this won't work as expected. We will also the verbatim search will not work as expected. You will also find results like with cats and not necessarily here. So this is kind of a limitation that we have with the release. And now let's do a demo. Okay, so I'm searching, as I shared, with student success. The number of results that I see is over 6 million, as you can see here. And I found results that are matched student success in single, but also the one with plural. Now, if I will add my quotation marks over here, okay, I will be able to see only results with the student success and not with the singular variation. And you can see here that the number of results now was reduced to that number. Same if I'll go into the advanced search, if I will use the student success with the contains, without with the contains, I'll get like more than 6 million as I showed before. If I will switch and use the exact contains exact phrase, I will see same results as I use the quotation marks and only get records that retrieve the same match as my query. So this is one suggestion. I've also, I also wanted to mention if I search for theater in this variation, this is the number of results, and I can, if I'll go into page number 4, I will also be able to see the other spelling option. yeah, I can see here other spelling options that are being suggested. Now, if I'll search with a quotation mark only for that, I won't be able to get the other variation, the number of results reduced. And this is kind of, this is what this verbatim search is all about. Next is the second phase for the NERS that we already released earlier this year, is supporting HTML tags in labels. The Primo working group gather a list of labels that you requested to have the flexibility to add HTML tags into it. So you have the flexibility to adjust it and maybe emphasize it to your patrons. So this is the list of the labels that are now support the HTML tags. We would like to note that if you are using same label like the public name that can be used like in the area of the get it and view it, that can also be used in the Alma, and you're adding HTML tags for them, only in the Primo V front end, the interface, we are referring to that and show it as you wanted. In the Alma screens, you will be able to see them with the HTML tags. Alma does not support the HTML labeling as in Primo. Just note when you edit that it's also affect over there. More notable items with the option to enrich from authority. Today, once we add an enrichment for authority to the subject field, we also included there also the genre fields. With this November release, we are fixing it and we are excluding genre from the subject. We excluding the genre from being a part of the subject, and it can be added, enriched from authority into a dedicated genre fields as mentioned here. So the sites that are using enrichment from authority, you will be able to use that. I think this is require re-indexing. Okay, now I'd like to share more about the status and the project of the NDE UI, the Next Discovery Experience UI. We are after Igloo, where we demo and share a session on Zoom into the Next Discovery Experience. And we also share it with at Luna with the colleagues that attended, and now we want to also to share with all customers, so you will be able to be familiar with the key milestones and the demo. I will do in a minute a really short demo. I'd like to share where we stand. We are working in collaboration with UX focus group from a community in Mixpanel, which is going to be the new analytics platform. We have also dedicated the focus group for that, and we also have a new customization focus group, meaning we have a representative from the community, developers that are now have the access to the NDE and to the customization. You may see that we publish in the GitHub new customization package that will match it's based on Angular and match the NDE. And there is also the same live demo that we shared at Igloo is also available here. So there will be more material to read. We are giving the one that can play with it now are the one that we gave access also to the NDE, so they can upload the package over there. And based on the feedback, we will tune and be ready with the general release. So this is some work on the activation. Just to mention with regarding to Mixpanel, we already also published document on the activity that we are working, and also documents that if you want to start to know what is Mixpanel, also have some videos and material that you can read. In January, I think we will do a webinar to be familiar with that. And there will be a lot of roadmap series with regarding to NDE and training along the road. Now let's have a demo of what we have. You are now have a sneak peek to our QA. First, I wanted to take you first to the landing page. So this is how the new landing page for the NDE will look like. You can see at the top the main menu. You can see the search. And you will be able to customize this landing page to have these quick links to your based on your needs. Ability for a user to go to the user area, announcement, and you will also be able to embed the showcase, the Primo showcase, to show recent material from the library. Now, once user click attempt to do a search, okay, this is how the new UI, the new NDEs look like. Very clean main menu at the top, the languages outside, user area where you will be able to control the order. You are searching and you have down there below the resource type filters and all the facets that are not taking place in the screen that can be opened once needed. As you can see here, we also choose to have common facet as quick filter available here, mainly the available and the peer review here. So I search for heart, and this is how the search results look like. We put all of the send to actions here divided into groups. We make the availability line clear and emphasize. If it's an online availability, I'd like to share, if we're talking about online availability, instead of showing a lot of available online, there could be available online, and also could be a drop down if there are more options. It's not in the exact here, but really clear to action. You can see that we also add here an option to see more of the summary in the brief results. And now if I turn on the available online and go into physical availability, I will open a full display now. Let's open a full display. And the full display, okay, now I'll open the full display. The full display is now remaining with the same area, very similar to the one that is shown in the brief results, and you will be able to control which section the get it is being opened. We created a dedicated section for the request that you can put a very clear option for the request. So user, it's not part of the get it, where user may miss the request in the top. And there are a lot of things that we are thinking over there. I will end my demo just sharing with you the user area. And so the user area, as you can see, we put in the user area for the loans. Let me switch to the English one. In addition to have loans and requests from my library available, here as you can see, we also choose to place over there the saved records or the search history in the overview, and also user can go ahead to each one of that here, and also for the settings. Now, this is really a quick demo of what we are doing and what is available. And we already can share what are the key milestones that we already have. So mainly when we talk about general release, it's May 25. What do we mean by general release? It means that you will have core functionality of the UI, the ND UI, available for you to start work and plan your migration. It will be available for the Primo VE customers. And of course, from May, you will have documentation, training, and all of the other aspects that a new interface requires available for you. What we achieved so far and what are the key milestones that we have. So In July, we opened the access for the UX focus group, and we already are getting their input and embedding their input into the to the rollout and to the scope of the development. In October, this week, we had a meeting with the customization focus group. We are giving them the customization, new NDE customization package, and they are trying. For the NDE, since it's based on Angular and not on Angular.js, you will need to plan your customization and do the migration into Angular. Plan and see. There could be that some of your customization will be part of configuration. If you change the send to action, if you change ordering, it will be part of configurations that are available, but it could be that you need to develop a new customization, and it's based on the Angular, and we are now testing it with the community developer in order to make it more ready for you when you get it in May. During December, we plan to start work with early adopters. And in February, we will start give gradually access for some customers that we would like to be able to manage this access. And of course, as I mentioned, the general release will be in May. Now, if you would like to become an early adopter, we are mainly now looking for some candidates from mainly for the America region and maybe for Europe. We have some, but we need more. We would like to work with like up to 10 early adopters and to help them with the migration. We plan to start working, as I mentioned, in December, and to help them to switch during 25. Could be the end in the or the summertime or the end whenever it match your semester breaks. So we can plan to help. The one that we will work with will have the chance to get our attention and also to prioritize the developer after May to fit with their onboarding. Of course, everyone starting of May, not everyone, single institution consortia will come after, will be able to look into the NDE and plan and plan for it. With this, I will also would like to mention that in November 13, we plan to do a zoom into the next discovery experience to explain more about these 4 pillars and also to give more details, UI example, and share with you more mockups and plans. So you are welcome to register and work with us as well. And by that, I'll pass it for you, Sima. Just
Sorry, I was muted,
yes.
right?
Yes.
I apologize. Okay, thank you, Nili. Wow, there is a lot in November. Thank you for that. And now a sneak peek into February release. The link open data persons entity, which was released in May this year, we got a lot of feedback from you that the support in only Library of Congress, you will prefer that it will be enhanced to support more vocabularies. That's why we are planning to include additional authorities, not only Library of Congress's currently only bibliographic records that are linked to Library of Congress authorities can have the linkage to persons. Starting from February, additional vocabularies that are included in VIAF will be also part of the person entity. Also in February, we are going to have our first nurse, the nurse that you were voting for in this year, which is add the ability for patron to change the default sort. Can you move to the next slide, please, Nili?
Yes.
Thanks. Just for you to get familiar with, there are 2 great new training videos that were published recently. One for the research assistant. It's very nice and short video just to get you the feeling of what the research assistant is, how it works, and how it can be enabled. Another video is the showcase carousel. The showcase was released a while ago, but we decided to publish a great new video for that. With the presentation, you will be able to notice the links. The documentation of the release notes will be available very soon. We'll update you once it is being published. And the upcoming events, the upcoming webinars. The first one is the link open data. We just mentioned it as part of the glance into February. We are going to cover it in a dedicated webinar, the person entity and the existing and future capabilities. The second webinar is the Zoom into NDE, which Nili mentioned. The 4 pillars of the NDE, Next Discovery Experience, will be elaborated, and we will show demos, of course. 2 more webinars that you are more than welcome to join. And with that, we finished this webinar, and we'll be happy to get your questions. Nili, I will start with the research assistant questions, okay?
Yes.
Okay, so the first question was, will the query classification be able to limit searches to CDI records for which an institution has full text access to the content? Currently, the research assistant scope is the entirety of the CDI according to your configuration setup for the expanded mode, the fully flexible or easy active. We are not limiting for full text. And the reason is that we want a good answer. And once we are eliminating many records because you don't have full text for, the quality of the answer is decreasing significantly. So it's kind of a trade-off between the quality of the answer and the usability for the user in terms of having only the full text or exploring beyond the full text. It's something that we are currently investigating. We cannot promise anything, but we got his feedback from you. We saw it also in the list. This is a great feedback. Thank you for that. We are considering it, but at this stage, we cannot commit to anything. Will users be able to limit by peer review in subsequent releases? We'd also be interested in being able to limit by language, by whether the articles have been retracted, and by whether our organization has activated the CDI content. So again, the full text and similar narrowing the results is quite challenging for us because because we want to keep the quality of the answer as good as possible and to be able to get as much as metadata in order to provide it. So we are exploring it, investigating the possibility to have it only for, not only for full text. Sorry, also narrowing it to full text. And the beginning of this question was to limiting it to peer review. So we generally have a boost for peer review in CDI searches, but this is not specific for the research assistant. This is generally the search capabilities and ranking in CDI. We're currently not supporting the advanced kind of questions where the user is limiting the query by format, by peer review, etc. But it is indeed something that we are learning and exploring now. The next question regarding the research assistant. The view more results link to a Boolean search tends to omit ALMA local electronic or physical titles, maybe due to the length of the query. Is Ex Libris investigating way to improve it? Great question. We saw also your feedback in your correspondence in the Primo listserv about it. We are currently exploring it to see what exactly caused it, if it's the local index limitation or why those answers are not including, why those resources not included, the local ones. But basically, the main idea is that the search is being submitted in the first scope that include CDI search profile. And it should include, if this is a blended scope, it should include the local resources. So there are probably local index limitations that we are currently exploring. For research assistant, if we have a question or want to report something, do we submit a support case for CDI or contact Sima Bloch directly? You should open a support ticket for your inquiries and bugs that if you identify something. When will the November release notes be updated on your website? In the next days, we're working on it. We have already a draft, and in the next days, it's going to be published. We'll let you know once it's published.
Okay, you want me to take the
Yes, and
other
now for
one?
you, Nili. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Great, Sima. Does the exact search require the term to be in the order of search? It look like the results pulled in records that include both terms, but not necessarily together. I think that it should include the order, and also when we are searching, we should refer to the distance among the search of the documents. The verbatim search should include that. If you find examples that are not, while you are testing it in the sandbox, please submit a case and we will have it with our search experts. Okay. Another question. Is there any indication to the user that the search performed is using verbatim rules? No, we did not give any indication for that. The user is searched with the quotations marks and the operators of search. We are retrieving results more accurate now to the specific search terms. Will external search widget for the NDE will be able to send searches directly into results as they do with the Primo VE? Yes, this all of those deep searches links will work. Additional, many institutions embed the search widget in their library homepage and generally do not use the Primo VE landing page, which apparently may be the same with NDE. Same situation, you don't have to implement the NDE. We wanted to provide for sites that not necessarily the homepage, or we wanted to provide a landing page. The landing page can be customized to your needs. Actually, but I think that the bottom of the library search will go into the landing page. So you will be able to embed we will be able to embed the search widget, but we need to examine the behavior of the library search. It's a good point. Thank you. For the NDE UI, various parts of current Alma Primo VE configuration restrict image configuration from uploading SVG image formats like library or collection LOMO. Will the NDE accommodate with SVG format? Yes, I think that we will continue with the SVG formats. We will support, of course, the upload of the logo. I think that it's using SVG. We will be able for you to change resource type icons or any other icons. We will provide same functionality, but even more with the customization option, but also changing the logo. It's not only customization. I also would like to mention that moving to the NDE, we try to reuse configuration. So the migration will be more easily for you. But we also develop additional configuration and choose to have order in the places that we're thinking need more orders. So you will have existing configuration and additional options available for you. And with that, also the option to replace icon, reuse collection thumbnails. For the collection discovery, what need to be examined is if we are changing, we didn't share the mockups of the collection, just the size, better match the sizing when we will deliver also best practices for that. So the collection will be look good as you did for the existing one. Can you confirm what institution within a consortia, ISE or NNZ environment, will be able to participate as early adopters? I think that we would like to work with early adopter for consortia. I think that we will start working with them maybe during March 25, we will publish. At the moment, we are looking for early adopters, like more single institutions, to start work in December. We didn't publish yet the general release for the consortia. Soon after my release, we will work also intensively for all of the consortia related feature. I have to share that in our UX focus group, there are consortia that are taking place, taking part and help to adjust, and we will work with them, and also I think with early adopters for consortia. The timeline will be published later this year. Okay, can you say more about the timeline for NDE general release for consortia? As I mentioned, we will publish this really later this year or early next year. What is the timeline for consortia to start look at it? And I think that they cover, I cover all of the questions. Let us know if you have additional question. We will wait more. Okay. I would like to thank you for joining this session and learning
Wait a minute,
more.
Nili, there were a few more in the chat. Can you see it? Does improve CDI results?
Okay.
Can you see it in the chat, or do you want me to read it for you?
Now let's see in the chat. I opened the chat, sorry. Does improve CDI results apply to both blended and CDI only searches? Yeah, it's supposed to be for blended, but only for CDI searches, but also for CDI. How much accessibility testing is being done on the NDE, especially the facet design? Okay, so first, I want to share more about the accessibility. Every mockup that we are doing is being sent to accessibility company that we are work with, DECU, and they are sending us back accessibility annotation to implement. So we are now in a phase what we are implementing while developing accessibility annotation that based on that. Of course, it's not only by mockups, it's also a workflows. In the facet design, there are challenges, how to bring the focus, how to make the DOM when the facet is closed. This is the things that we are currently working. We may start work also with community accessibility. I know that Luna maybe early 25, also to consult in their cases. But anyhow, our plans is alongside of implementing the accessibility while developing. I think we will go during February. On top of the February release, we'll go into external audit for the pages that we are marked that are ready to go, and we will have external audit and get list of issues. So what we plan is that by my release to publish a VPAT that is based for the NDE with the list of issues that will serve us as a roadmap. And whenever we are developing new page, we will also do an external audit. So we are in the track of also making the product accessible. And of course, the facet designs we will also figure out also there. I have to say that we are checking every component that we are checking, every Angular component, we are also checking the accessibility for that new component. What are the shortcuts in the accessibility that are being supported there, how it's being supported. And there were components that we developed and we found that it's are not really accessible and we drop them. So we also giving accessibility by design to that. Another question, would you mind pasting the question? I'm not sure. About the research assistant, we use fully flexible setting. Sima, did you take that?
No problem. Question
You
about the
already-
research assistant. We use fully flexible setting, not easy active at the moment. So the expanded search in our Primo VE only includes resources which we have enabled for searching. Can you confirm that this setting is retained when using the research assistant? Yes, we do maintain this setup, meaning the research assistant have the same behavior as you have in your Primo according to your expanded mode setup. If it's fully flexible, it will be fully flexible also in Research Assistant. Same for Easy Active. So it should have the same behavior.
Great. And last questions. I will explain more. My last question is regarding the scope that are supported in the approved CDI results. Which kind of scope will work? So the verbatim search will work both in blended search and in CDI search, in both. Sorry if it wasn't so clear. Great. Another question. For the mixed panel analytics, will that retain our current years of Primo analytics data, or will the mixed panel analytics start collecting data from the date of the rollout? Currently, we have analytics, number 0 results for different Primo searches. Will the mixed panel analytics will be able to analyze Primo 0 result from back in 24 before? Okay, well, you use when you use the mixed panel, we will not do migration. It's two different systems. It will start, your analytics will start from the beginning, from the time of the rollout. What I have to say with regarding to 0 results and all of that, you will be able to do a lot of analysis. It's real time, it's dynamic. We have a lot of potential with the mixed panel. We will share more on that in a dedicated webinar in January, but of course it's a good point. The data will be starting your rollout and not the history of your data. And this is going to be the only analytics from the NDE.
Okay, there are no further questions, I see. Thank you so much. We hope you will find this release beneficial. Have a great day. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.